Let me get this straight. We can talk about milfoil and Asian clams, and we can talk about septic system inspections and the fund for Lake. Oh, we got to talk about the fund for Lake George, and we talk about Darren Freshwater Institute. We talk about the smartest lake in the world. Let's talk about the dam. Let's talk about the dam that controls the up and down water on Lake George. The dam that created the problems in the first place. You know, Judge Isaac Kellogg's dam up there at Ticonderoga, where millions of cubic yards of industrial poisons and toxics and sewage, huge, massive amounts of sewage, were flushed into the front of Fort Ticonderoga. Now, David Wick and Tom West and, the whole Lake George Land Commission and the Lake George Park Commission and the town of Queensbury and Betty Little and Chuck Schumer and, Dan Steck and Gillibrand, whatever her name is, the congresswoman from upstate New York, and the Warren County Board of Supervisors. And let's not forget the Post-Star, the Adirondack Explorer, and the Adirondack Almanac, and State University of New York, Cornell, and Bay Road, and Paul Smith College. Let's talk about the dam on Lake George that controls the up and down waters during the wintertime flushing, when they flush the lake. Now, if you don't think they flush the lake, they call it drawdown. That's when they flush it for as much of that sewage-contaminated green water. Ask Don Lehman and Ken Tingsley, and ask the reporters from the Post-Star, and I don't know, get Bill Blaze and Vincent Crasito and Margaret Mannix and Miss Muratori. I forget her name. Marissa. Get Marissa Muratori and Kathy Bozzoni and Chris Novinsky. Get Chris Novinsky to explain the lake flushing. When they dump a bunch of water out of the lake so that the power company, the International Power Company, and their electricity suppliers to the paper mill can make all that electricity. Why aren't we talking about property damage on Lake George, Dave Wick? What, is that like off limits? We can only talk about boat inspection programs? We only want to talk about the boat inspection programs, right? We don't want to discuss the Lake Ontario, St. Lawrence Seaway property destructions from the dam, the up and down water from the Moses Sanders Dam. Just like on Lake George, the Moses Sanders Dam destroys property all over Lake Ontario and all up and down the St. Lawrence Seaway, exactly like what happens on Lake George. Basil Sagos, David Wick, and New York State Governor Andy Cuomo. Let's talk about the dam on Lake George, all that property destruction on the lake. Dam 230, the one that's way too small, according to the Army Corps of Engineers. Let's talk about the real history, the real litigation, and the billions of dollars in environmental degradation, property damage, destroying of the islands, destroying of the boathouses, destroying of the docks, and all the contamination and poisoning of Lake Champlain. So let's get off the Asian clams and the milfoil for a couple of minutes and get away from the boat inspection program, and let's talk about the dam. Warren County Board of Supervisors, Town of Queensbury, Town of Lake George, Hewlett's Landing, Bolton Landing, Ticonderoga, the New York State Health Department, the Essex County Health Department. Let's talk about all the sewage and slop flushed into Lake Champlain using good old Dam A. Dam A, also known as Dam 230. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all the links that you could possibly want, all the information you could possibly want about Dam A and the dam flushing are below. So there you have it. I don't know what else I can say to the Roger Smith and that whole David Wick gang over there. David Wick gang over there at Lake George Park Commission. And to my old pals at the Lake George Association, and Darren Freshwater Institute, how is it that Chris Novinsky became the waterkeeper for life? Why is Chris Novinsky the waterkeeper for life on Lake George? What, has he been anointed? Has he been appointed, or has he been installed? Let's talk about it, Chris Novinsky, and let's see who knows more about the history of the poisoning of Lake George, you or me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving it right there, and as always, hasta la vista, God bless, and you betcha we're coming back.